Every month, millions of people work hard for money. They wake up early, they travel to work, they spend hours building businesses. Something happens, the money disappears.
And by the end of the month, many people look at their account
and ask themselves, where did all my money go? This was the life of Daniel.
Every morning, Daniel woke up before the sun. His alarm rang at 5:30 a.m. He reached for his phone, turned off the alarm, and stared at the ceiling for a few seconds. Then he got up.
Another day, another journey to work, another month of trying to survive. He worked hard, very hard, but no matter how much he earned, it never seemed to be enough. $2,450. Finally, this month will be different. This month, I would save. This month,
He would be careful. This month, he would stop wasting money. But life had other plans. First came the rent, then transportation, then food, then electricity, then internet, then family responsibilities, then an unexpected repair.
one expense after another, Daniel watched his account balance fall, slowly, then quickly. By the end of the month, he was back where he started.
How am I working every day, yet I never seem to move forward? I don't understand. I work every month, I earn money, but I never seem to build anything.
What do you do with the money you manage to save?
Save? Sometimes I save a little, but it never becomes anything meaningful.
Have you ever invested?
Invested in what?
Stocks.
Stocks? Isn't that for rich people?
That is what many people think. That is what many people think. Look around you. What do you see? Tables.
Coffee, phones, people.
Every product you see was created by a company. The phone in your hand, the food you eat, produced or sold by companies. The bank you use, owned by a company. The electricity and telecommunication services you use, they're rec.
Companies.
When those companies grow and make money,
Who benefits? The owners?
exactly. And when you buy shares in a public company,
You can become one of those owners.
this is one of the most important ideas in investing. A share represents a small ownership stake in a company. When you buy shares, you are not simply watching a number move on a screen. You are buying a small piece of a real business, a business that may sell products, provide services, employ people, make profits, expand into new markets, and potentially grow over time. Not every company succeeds, and not every stock increases in value. That is why investing requires research, understanding, patience, and risk management. But the basic idea is simple. Instead of only working for companies, you can also become a small owner in companies.
So you're saying I can buy a company?
Yes,
Even if I don't have millions?
yes.
How much do I need?
That depends on the investment platform and the company. But technology has made investing more accessible than it used to be. In some places, people can begin with very small amounts.
You're telling me I can sit at home, open it and buy shares? With a phone?
Yes, the same phone he used every day to watch videos. The same phone he used to order food and transfer money. The same device could also give him access to investments. Saving money is important, but saving and investing are not exactly the same thing. When you save money, you keep it available for future use. That is useful for emergencies and short-term goals.
But when you invest, you put money into assets that may grow in value over time. Shares, funds, businesses, other investments. The goal is to allow your money to participate in growth.
So I need both?
Exactly. You need emergency savings, you need money for your daily life. But money that you won't need immediately could potentially be invested for the long term.
So if I invest today, how much will I make next month?
That is the first mistake beginners make.
What?
Thinking investing is a quick money machine. The stock market can go up, it can also go down. Companies can succeed, companies can struggle. Never invest money you urgently need.
I remember those videos promising guaranteed profits. Then how do people actually make money investing?
Through ownership, growth, dividends in some cases, and time. Imagine planting this. You place it in your hand.
I'm looking at it.
You don't plant to expect a tree tomorrow. You must water it and protect it.
Of course not.
That's how savings work. Imagine planting this
You don't plant it today
and expect a tree tomorrow.
Of course not.
You water it, you protect it.
Some days, progress is difficult to see. Some weeks, all you can do is remain patient. Yet beneath the surface, growth continues. Investing is like planting a seed.
Exactly.
Small investments can be like seeds.
Consistency is the water,
Time is the soil,
and patience.
is what allows the tree to grow.
That night, Daniel went home. He opened his notebook. At the top of the page, he wrote, "I cannot invest a lot." He stared at the sentence.
But I can start with what I have. I do not have thousands. I do not have millions. I can invest a small amount every month. Not money needed for food, not rent money.
Not emergency money, just a small amount he could afford to leave invested. The amount was not impressive, but it was a beginning, and every great tree begins with a seed.
Daniel researched. He learned that before buying a stock, an investor should understand what they are buying. Does it have a history of growth? Does it have debt? Who are its competitors? Daniel realized something. Investing shouldn't be like buying a lottery ticket. He wanted to understand what he was buying. After doing his research, Daniel made his first small investment.
He stared at the screen. The amount looked almost insignificant. But emotionally, he had used a small amount to buy a piece of a business. Already? I bought the stock yesterday. And it's already down?
How much?
3%.
And has the company changed overnight?
No.
Did the business disappear?
No.
Did the company stop operating?
No.
Then why are you panicking? Stock prices move every day. Sometimes because of the economy, sometimes because investors become afraid.
Sometimes because people are simply buying and selling. Investing required patience.
From that day, Daniel created a simple plan. Every month, after taking care of his responsibilities, he would invest a small amount, not based on excitement, not based on fear, not because some research, invest, and wait. Some months, the market would rise. Other months, sometimes, his investment would be worth more, sometimes less. But Daniel began to understand something. The purpose was not to become rich overnight. The purpose was to build ownership over time.
Many people wait until they have a lot of money before they begin investing. But often, the truth is, starting small does not guarantee wealth.
Investing does not guarantee profits, and the stock market carries risk. But learning early, developing good habits, that simply keeping every dollar idle may not. The most important thing is not how much you start with. It is learning, starting responsibly, and remaining consistent.
What if I only have a small amount?
Then start by learning.
What if I can only invest a little?
Then invest what you can responsibly afford.
What if the market falls?
What if I become afraid?
Then remember why you invested in the first place.
The market is not a magic machine. It will test your emotions. Patience is not simply waiting. Patience is continuing to follow a thoughtful plan while the world is panicking.
Months later, Daniel sat at home. His investment account was not huge. He was no longer earning money and spending money. He had begun building ownership.
Small ownership, but real ownership. And every month, he added another seed, then another, then another, then another. He had no idea how
large the tree could become. But for the first time, he had started.
Every journey begins with a decision. Not a huge investment, not a perfect moment, not a large amount of money, just a decision. To learn, to start, to remain patient, and to give time a chance to work. Because wealth is rarely built in a single day, built quietly, through small decisions, repeated consistently for years. to remain patient, and to give time a chance to work. Because wealth is rarely built in a single day, built quietly, through small decisions, repeated consistently for years.
Months passed. Daniel remained disciplined. He wasn't investing thousands of dollars every month. Sometimes, some months he invested more. Other months,
He invested less, but he never stopped. Slowly, his portfolio began growing. Daniel was not simply working for money. His money was slowly beginning to work alongside him. Every month, he learned something new. Some days, his investments went higher. Other days, they went lower. But Daniel no longer checked his portfolio every hour. He had become patient. Or at least, he thought he had.
One beautiful morning, Daniel opened his investment application. For several months, his investments had performed well. There was green everywhere. For the first time, he understood why people invested for the future. He began dreaming. Perhaps one day, his investments would help him buy a home. Perhaps they would help him retire comfortably.
Perhaps they would help him support his future family. Everything seemed perfect. Until one day, everything changed.
Daniel's phone began vibrating continuously. News notifications filled his screen. The markets were falling, financial markets. He opened his investment application. His smile disappeared.
The numbers had become red. What happened? He researched companies. He remained disciplined. So why was he losing money?
The market is dead. This is the biggest crash ever.
get out before you lose everything. Fear spreads faster than facts. The same people celebrating profits yesterday were now predicting the end of the world.
Daniel became afraid. He considered selling everything. Perhaps everyone else was right. Perhaps investing was a mistake. Was it all a mistake?
What should I do? Should I sell everything?
Daniel, why did you invest?
For my future.
And has your future changed since yesterday?
No.
Have the companies stopped existing?
No.
Have you suddenly become 80 years old overnight?
No.
So why are you behaving like a trader when you decided to become an investor? The market has experienced difficult periods throughout history. There have been periods of fear, there have been periods of uncertainty, and there have been recoveries. Long-term investing doesn't mean prices never fall. It means understanding that investing is usually a long journey. She continued, if you plant a tree today, would you dig it up tomorrow because it hasn't grown?
Of course not.
Then why do investors do exactly that? Patience becomes most difficult when the market turns red.
Stick to the plan. Do not panic.
At the top of the page he wrote, I am investing for years, not for today. Temporary fear should never destroy a long-term plan. For the first time, Daniel chose patience over panic.
The market continued falling. Fear continued spreading. The red numbers became even larger. Something unexpected happened. While everyone else was selling,
Daniel met a man who had invested patiently. His name was Mr. Thomas, and he was about to teach Daniel a great lesson.
Someone else was quietly buying. Daniel didn't understand why, until he met someone who had spent over 30 years investing patiently.
A man named Mr. Thomas, and he was about to teach Daniel one of the investing. The market doesn't transfer money from the poor to the rich. It transfers wealth from the impatient to the patient.
The market continued falling. People continued panicking. News channels spoke of uncertainty. Social media became louder. Investors sold everything. Some promised the end of the world. Fear had become contagious. But somewhere else, the market continued falling. People continued panicking. News channels spoke of uncertainty. Social media became louder. Investors sold everything. Some promised the end of the world. Fear had become contagious. But somewhere else,
An old investor smiled because he had seen this story before. Not once, not twice, but many times throughout his lifetime. His name was Mr. Thomas. And while
millions were running away from the market, he was quietly moving toward it.
One beautiful morning, Mr. Thomas sat in his library. His journal lay beside his coffee. Everything was red, but strangely, he smiled.
There was no fear in his face, no panic, no frustration. Because Mr. Thomas understood something Daniel was yet to learn.
Markets rise again. He had witnessed recessions, crashes, uncertainty, recoveries, and through every season, he simply remained patient.
Daniel finally met Mr. Thomas. Welcome, my boy. He found a simple man. Patience over profits.
Aren't you afraid?
Of what?
The market is falling,
It has done that before.
but you're losing money.
No. I only lose money when I sell my investments for less than I paid, because fear made my decisions for me.
Mr. Thomas slowly opened his notebook. Inside were records spanning 30 years. Daniel could hardly believe his eyes. Every month, Mr. Thomas invested. When the market was green, he invested.
When the market was red, he invested. During difficult times, he invested. During prosperous times, he invested.
You invested during market crashes too?
Especially during market crashes.
When your favorite store offers 50% discounts, what do people do? They become happy. And when quality companies become temporarily cheaper, what do investors do? They become afraid. Exactly. Not every company deserves investment.
That is why research remains important. But temporary market declines do not automatically make good businesses become bad businesses. Sometimes, fear creates opportunities. I wasn't rich. I simply started early. Many people's 20 years waiting until they have enough money to begin investing, then another 10 years waiting for the perfect opportunity.
They spent 30 years waiting. So how much should someone begin with?
Whatever they can responsibly afford after taking care of their financial obligations. People underestimate small, consistent investments. A tree doesn't become large overnight, it simply refuses to stop growing.
What is your secret strategy?
My secret?
Yes.
30 years.
No, seriously.
I am serious. The greatest advantage an investor possesses isn't intelligence. It isn't predicting tomorrow's prices. It is giving time the opportunity to do what time does best. Small amounts invested consistently over long periods can become meaningful, not because of magic, but because growth has been given time to work. Never fall in love with one company.
Why?
Because businesses change. Diversification means understanding that no one can predict the future perfectly. Some investments will perform well. Others may disappoint. Diversification doesn't eliminate risk. Never put tomorrow's future in one investment.
The market continued falling. News channels remained negative. Fear remained everywhere. But something had changed. Daniel no longer checked his investments every hour.
Instead, he continued learning. He continued investing responsibly. For the first time, he had begun behaving like an investor.
What makes successful investors different?
They understand something most people don't.
And what is that?
Time rewards patience. He continued, the market doesn't reward excitement. It doesn't reward impatience. It rewards discipline. Time rewards patience. He continued, the market doesn't reward excitement. It doesn't reward impatience. It rewards discipline.
Years from now, Daniel would forget many stock prices. He would forget market headlines. He would forget the fear that once kept him awake at night isn't money.
It is time. And for the first time, Daniel stopped asking, how much money will I make? And began asking, how much time am I willing to give my future? That single question changed everything. 10 years passed. The world changed. Technology changed. Markets changed. Companies rose. Others disappeared. There were periods of fear, periods of uncertainty, and periods of extraordinary growth. But through every season, Daniel remained the same. He continued learning. He continued investing responsibly.
Not because he was trying to become rich overnight, but because he had finally learned that building wealth slowly was still building wealth. Something extraordinary began happening.
One beautiful morning, Daniel stood quietly inside his apartment. It was still the same apartment, only now, his bookshelf had become larger. His financial knowledge had become deeper. And for the first time, Daniel realized something. He had discovered something more valuable than excitement: peace. Daniel opened one of his oldest investment journals. Inside was his very first investment. It wasn't large. In fact, it was surprisingly small. He smiled softly. That small beginning had eventually become thousands of small decisions made consistently over 10 years. He realized something. Compound growth wasn't magic. It was patience made visible. Years earlier, Daniel checked his investments every morning. Today, he sometimes forgot to check them for days. He had stopped obsessing over prices and started focusing on principles. He understood that investing wasn't about finding the perfect moment. It was about remaining invested responsibly over time. The greatest lesson time had taught him was surprisingly simple. Consistency beats intensity. One afternoon, Daniel received another notification. He smiled. Years ago, he celebrated market gains. Today, he smiled because a company shared a dividend. It wasn't life-changing money, but it represented something extraordinary. He was receiving a small portion of a company's success, simply because he had remained patient. Mr. Thomas once said, "When you become a shareholder, time becomes your business partner." And for the first time, Daniel finally understood what he meant.
You finally see it now.
See what?
The snowball.
What snowball?
A snowball begins small, very small, but if it continues moving long enough, it eventually becomes something extraordinary. Compound growth behaves very much the same way.
Years earlier, Daniel thought wealth meant luxury cars, large houses, and expensive watches. Today, wealth meant something entirely different. It meant having an emergency fund.
It meant sleeping peacefully at night. It meant helping his parents whenever they needed him. It meant having choices. And perhaps that had always been the greatest reward of all.
One evening, Daniel discovered something unexpected. The greatest return on his investments wasn't showing inside his portfolio. It was showing in self. He had become disciplined, patient, financially responsible, and emotionally mature. He no longer feared market declines because he understood they were simply part of the journey. For the first time, he realized that investing had never merely been teaching him about money, it had been teaching him about life. Late one evening, Daniel sat quietly holding his very first investment journal. Inside were his fears and his first small investment. He smiled.
That young man who once worried about losing a few dollars had become someone entirely different. He had not become wealthy because he was lucky. He had become better because he remained patient.
Do you know why most people never experience compound growth?
Because they stopped too early?
They stop too early? Exactly. Exactly. Most people plant the seed. Very few remain long enough to enjoy the shade.
And at that moment, Daniel understood something extraordinary. Time had never been working against him. It had quietly been working for him all along.
25 years passed. Some companies disappeared, periods of uncertainty, and extraordinary opportunities.
But through every season, Daniel remained the same. He continued investing responsibly, and every month, he simply continued. 25 years earlier, he was worried about
losing a few dollars. Today, freedom, freedom. Not the freedom of never working again, but the freedom of having choices.
The freedom to close his eyes each night with peace in his heart. The freedom to care for the people he loves without fear or regret. And perhaps, to become the guiding light for others, helping them begin the journey he once started alone.
One beautiful Sunday morning, Daniel sat where he once stood with Mr. Thomas. That tiny seed had become something extraordinary, not because it grew quickly, but because it was given time. He was no longer chasing wealth. He had discovered something better: contentment. Daniel opened his very first investment journal once again. Inside were his fears, his questions. That young man who wondered whether investing a few dollars mattered.
Thank you for not giving up.
Sir,
Yes?
I want to start investing.
That's wonderful.
I only have a small amount to begin with.
So did I.
Which stock will make me rich?
You're asking the wrong question.
Then what should I ask?
Ask yourself whether you're willing to remain patient for 25 years. Most people aren't defeated by the market, they're defeated by impatience.
Daniel smiled as he remembered his old friend. Mr. Thomas was now an old man enjoying the peaceful rewards of a life well lived. One sentence continued echo inside Daniel's heart. Most people plant the seed. Very few remain long enough to enjoy the shade. For 25 years, those words quietly changed his life.
Years earlier, Daniel believed wealth meant luxury. Today, wealth meant something greater, helping his parents when they needed him.
Supporting the causes he believed in, having time for the people he loved. And perhaps that had always been the greatest return of all.
True wealth takes patience. You must think long-term. Without realizing it, what Mr. Thomas had once been to him, a teacher, not because he knew everything, but because he had learned that patience changes people. Sir, what was the secret?
There wasn't one.
Page 1. I simply started. I remained patient. I continued learning. And I refused to stop. That's all.
As the sun slowly disappeared beyond the horizon, Daniel, the same community garden where his journey had symbolically begun, and beneath the shade of a magnificent tree, suddenly he remembered. The greatest investment you will ever make isn't money, it is time. And perhaps there was one final lesson waiting. Time multiplies more than money. It multiplies wisdom, it multiplies opportunities, and when shared with others, it multiplies hope.
You do not need millions to begin. You only need the courage to start. Start small, learn continuously, invest responsibly, remain patient.
The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Start small, stay patient, keep growing.
Want to learn more about the financial markets, stocks, forex, and crypto? Contact us and continue your financial education with Beyond the Chart. Learn, invest wisely, think long.
Want to learn more about the financial markets, stocks, forex, and crypto? Continue your financial education with Beyond the Chart. Learn, invest wisely.